Today we will discuss about how to draw grids in a Revit project. First, I welcome all my friends on my educational channel. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get new videos. Like and share also. Grids are datum elements that help organize your design. Datum elements are elements that don't have a physical appearance in the project but used as a reference to control the project elements. Labels are also an example of datum elements in the project. Grids are used in the model to create a reference and framework for the design. A grid is a collection of horizontal and vertical lines creating a pattern against which we can line up our design elements. Especially when our design is spread over many sheets. Using a grid makes it easier to understand the design elements in the specific place. Normally, a reference is taken by placing a grid on the center of the column in the project, and the entire project is controlled. The grid tool is in the datum panel of Architecture tab, and its shortcut key is GR. The same tool is also located in the datum panel of the Structure tab. After selecting this tool, you must click on the reference where you want to place the grid. The grid will start on the first click, and on a second click will place the grid bubble. After placing the grid line can be adjusted by dragging according to the project design. While placing the second grid, if we end the bubble at the reference of the first grid, the grids will automatically lock together. The advantage of this is that the grid will drag together. The grids can also be placed by copy option. In both options, the grid name will be carried forward automatically. We can change this name from the properties palette, but for this, the grid name should not be used before. For example, we give the name of the grid, which is not already in use. Then the name will be changed. But by giving the already used grid name, Revit gives error. You can also place the grid at an angle. If you accidentally place the grid at an angle while placing a straight grid, you cannot change the angle of grid by dragging it. For this, you can change the grid angle by modifying the numerical values. Or it can be aligned with an object using Align tool. If two grids are overlapping due to being too close, the grid bubbles can be adjusted by adding the elbow. To remove the elbow, simply drag the line to straighten it. The grid line will straighten. Visibility parameter has been added in the grid to display the either side bubbles. You can show or hide the bubbles at any side. Normally, the grid bubbles are automatically locked on a reference and move together. But a grid can be unlocked and move separately. and as soon as you align it with other grids, it will lock again. Similarly, the grid line on the other side can be drawn and renamed. The next grid name will start automatically according to previous grid name. Some draw options appear in the Modified tab while selecting the grid tool. You can use any shape to draw a grid as per your requirements. The grid will be drawn straight from the straight line. You can draw a grid according to the shape of the object. The shape of the grid will be created according to the object shape with the help of pick line. You can draw grid of different shapes with the multi-segment. You can also reshape the existing multi-sketch grid. Now we talk about grid type properties. The first row is symbol in the grid edit type. You can create a symbol and add to it. The second row is the center segment. The grid line will show throughout in the project if the center segment is continuous. Changing the center segment none will make the grid line disappear from the project center. And the segment length that we will give, the grid line will look like the same. We can also control the grid end line weight and color from the type properties. If we set the center segment on custom, then we can control the line weight, color, and line pattern from both sides of the project. How can we control the circle bubble in plan? This is done by checking these check boxes. If we want the bubbles on both sides, then both boxes will be checked. After that, there is none plan view symbols that we can control in elevation. While working on a project, you see grids on the ground floor and the same grids are not visible in the upper floors. So let me tell you how to show it. You must drag the grids in the elevation up to the level you want. The grids will be visible. You have drawn lot of grids on different distances in a project and you want the grids distances to be the same. So after making the grids, give a continue dimension. And log the desired distance on a grid that you want to apply on all the grids and press the equal button. The distance of all grids will be the same. Today we discuss how to draw grids in the Revit project. I hope that you understand this topic. Stay tuned for more educational videos, BIM Talks.